Welcome everyone to our ChimeraFit for Hypermobility class. Today we're going to get a full body workout with a little extra attention to our hip flexors, our iliopsoas muscle, and our rectus femoris, and our pectineus, the muscles on the front of the hip that flex our hip, which is bring knee towards chest. There can be a lot of times tension or feeling of tightness in the hips, which sometimes is legit. They really are tight, and other times it's because they're a little bit weaker and they're spasmy or getting trigger points because of the weakness, and we need to actually strengthen them. So in our class today, we'll do a little bit of both flexibility work in a safe range and also a little bit of strength work for those guys, along with a nice full body workout. So we'll use our usual props. We'll use a Pilates ball, some bands, a little bit of weights, a balance pad, and that should be all that we need for today. We're actually going to start just checking in with those hips laying on your back. So when you're ready, we're just going to find a nice comfortable spot on your mat. Give yourself a moment to feel connected with the mat. Bend the knees about hip width apart. Close the eyes and just check in with your breath. And allow ourselves a moment to give our muscles a break. So we're coming at our practice today from a space of calm and relaxation, so our body's best prepared to get all the benefits that it can out of our exercise today. Just notice the breath into the belly, the low ribs, and even allowing the pelvic floor to relax a bit. And then we'll bring your hands to your pelvis. You can continue keeping your eyes closed if you like, just to really tune inward and notice what you're feeling in your body here. Is we're just going to do a small twist outward, so keeping your tailbone anchored on the ground. Let your left knee drop out to the side, and then slowly bring it back. So we're just twisting in that left hip joint, and see if you can do that without any movement of your pelvis. And then we'll do the other side. So the left leg stays anchored to the ground, the left side of your pelvis stays anchored down as the right knee starts to fall out and slowly come back. We're going to imagine there's a small marble sitting just below the belly button, so that when your leg moves, that little tiny marble doesn't move with you. It's just a very small movement, but it's actually trickier than it looks. And then continue at your own pace, just alternating from right to left, going a bit slower than you think you probably need to. So really focus on staying centered right in the middle of that tailbone. If you start to notice your weight shifting over, readjust. See if you can keep your pelvis really heavy on the mat, your ribs nice and heavy, so that the knee is completely free to move separate from the pelvis. Let's try one more time on each side. Inhale as you bring the knee back up. Exhale as we let the knee drop out to the side. Good. And then we're going to float the arms up to about 90 degrees. Let your shoulder blades stay anchored onto the ground, and then just a small circle of the arms. We'll see if we can redraw the same circle each time, just getting a little bit of heat into the body, and then circle the other way. You can think about zipping the shoulders into the sockets a little bit, so like you're creating a little bit of tension, a little bit of like a suction of the ball into that socket joint. Nice. And then we're going to reach the right arm up as the left arm goes down, and then switch left arm up, right arm down, keeping the head, ribs, tailbone really heavy on the mat. Can you move the arms with the least amount of activity in the rest of your body as humanly possible? And then on the next one, go ahead and add an opposite lift of your knee. So left arm, right knee, starting with a very basic dead bug variation, right arm, left knee, keeping the pelvis, ribs nice and steady. Left arm, right knee. Exhale as you come down. Inhale as we come up, right arm, left. One more time on each side. Waking up those hip flexors that we're talking about. Nice. And then we'll bring your arms down, let that left knee, we'll pause the left knee up in a 90-degree angle. Now you're going to take your left hand and press into that left knee. So an isometric, little bit of isometric work of that hip flexor. Knee pushes against your hand pushes against your knee. Push and hold for just a breath. Take a rest and then try that on the other side. So we're going to bring the right knee up toward the right hand, give a little bit of a press. Notice the muscles working deep inside that hip. Ribs stay anchored onto the ground. Bring it back down. And then switch again. Left knee comes up, use your left hand. And then we're going to, if that was comfortable, we want to advance a little bit. We're going to bring the right knee up to a tabletop, right arm up, and then reach the right arm, right leg just a little bit away from the center of your body while you're pushing that left knee in, and then bring everything back to neutral. So you're going to reach the right arm, right leg. Option is to go down and then back up. Small, subtle movement here. Right arm, right leg reaches out. As you're pushing still with that left hand into the left knee for a little bit of isometric work of that hip flexor. One more time, reaching the right arm, right leg. Come on back down. And then try that on the other side. So we'll bring the right knee up, give a little push against that with the right hand. Maybe lift the left knee, and then we'll reach left arm, left leg. And then come back up. Our option is to pause and hold in that position. Inhale, or reach up to the sky. Exhale to come down. Ribs nice and firm on the ground. Inhale, and exhale to come back. Two more. Inhale, reach. Exhale to come back. You should feel a little bit of deep work happening inside the front of the hip, but not pinching. One more time. Reach out, out, out. Maybe open up the angle there if there's any pinchiness, and back down we go. We'll hug the knees to the chest. Knees can come a little wider so you have a little space. We massage the low back a little bit there. Get the ankles a couple of circles. And then we're going to grab your Pilates ball, bring it just between the knees. Keeping a little bit of activity of those inner thigh muscles. Take a breath in. And then as we exhale, we're going to tuck the chin, add a little bit of a crunch, just barely curling up, and then rolling back down. Inhale, exhale, tuck the chin first. So we're not lifting your head first, you're just doing a little nod and then lifting from the bottom of your rib cage to lift you up. So tiny little crunch without poking your head forward. In fact, in your crunch, see if you can allow your head to extend, not extend, but kind of lean backwards a little bit. We still have a chin tuck, but your head is slightly backwards so it's still in line with your shoulders. Nice. Lower it back down, just fine-tuning our head position. If you can, one more time. We're going to nod the head down a little bit. Start your curl up from the ribs lifting down and in toward your belly. The head comes along for the ride rather than poking your head forward. And then back down. You go. Nice. And then we'll keep the head down and lift the knees up to a tabletop. So we've got the ball here between your knees. And then with the arms to the side, we're going to do a little mini windshield wiper, just going about 45 degrees to one side. Back to the center. And 45 degrees to the other side. Getting a little easy twist in the spine. Right. Center. Left. And center. If you're feeling good about this, you can always advance it by extending the legs and going a little bigger with your windshield wipe. Just keep it within the range that feels good to you. You may need to make room for it if you're doing the straight leg version. Watch out for stuff in your room. Inhale as you go down, and then exhale to come back up. Use a little bit of inner thigh work, so we're holding that ball. And one more time each way. Nice. When we come down, we're going to pass the ball off to your hands, holding it here in between both hands, right up over your shoulders. I'm going to anchor the shoulders down onto the ground, hold here, and keeping that little bit of pressure on the ball as you reach up overhead again. So this time both arms together, and exhale, bring it back in. See if we can, again, moving your arms without any extra movement in the upper back. A little bit of a nod of the chin, so those deep neck flexors are working behind your throat. And just one more time, heavy, heavy ribs. And back up we go. We'll pass the ball back off to the knees one more time. Getting ready for the 100. We'll take a breath in. Knees either feet down or option to go knees up. On our exhale, we'll curl up and then pulse the arms down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3. Option to extend the knees if you're ready. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, nice strong arms, so they're just moving as one piece. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can support your head if you need to here. 7, 2, or take a break. 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Tailbone stays nice and heavy on the ground. 9, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. We're going to let everything come back down to the ground. Leave the ball off to the side. And then if you've got a band, oops, I lost mine, round band, loop band, I'm going to bring that around your leg. There it is. Bring it around your legs just over the knees. We've got. And then just like we started with our warm-up, we're going to drop one knee to the side. So anchor your right foot to the ground, anchor the ribs onto the floor, and let just your left knee start to press out to the side without moving the right. And come back to the center. Inhale, and then exhale to press the right knee out to the side without moving your left. Let the left be nice and heavy. It's so heavy, it can't possibly go anywhere. Bring it back. Inhale, fill up the belly. Exhale, let the left knee reach out. Pause for a second, check what your neck is doing. Check the collarbones are wide. Slowly come back. Take a breath. Exhale, right knee drops out. Can we do this without clenching your teeth? Without over-guarding in the neck? Nice. Well, come on back to the center. Take a breath. And then we're going to go into a bridge. So we'll press out a little bit with both legs. Tuck the tailbone underneath you. Press the heel strong into the ground as we lift up into a bridge. And then roll down one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, I'm going to press out, scoop the tailbone. Think about squeezing right where your bottom meets the back of your thigh. Start to lift, just going within the height that feels comfortable. And then we'll float the arms up. Pause here, and then add again our circle while you're in your bridge. 4, 5 shoulder blades anchored down onto the mat. 8, 9, 10, and then circle the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and that's 10. Hold it there. We roll everything back down, one vertebrae at a time. Good. We can remove your band, hug the knees into the chest, and then give yourself a couple of rocks. Come on up to sitting. Roll on the shoulder blades. If that's feeling good, do a couple. Go ahead, give yourself a couple extra rolls. Keep the spine nice and round. So we have a nice round surface to roll on. And then when you're ready, we'll swing your legs around, find a hands and knees position. So hands anchored down onto the ground. We're just going to allow ourselves to move into an easy cat-cow, extending into cow, rounding into cat. Letting one vertebrae move at a time. So we'll start our extension, starting with your tailbone, tipping it up, low back, mid back, rib cage, head and neck last, then rounding head and neck first, rounding between the shoulders, and tailbone last. See if we can notice each vertebrae moving one at a time. One more each direction. And then we're going to shift the weight to the right hand, lift the left arm up to thread the needle. Weight even on both knees, and then exhale, you reach that left arm through, left shoulder comes down toward the ground. Inhale as we reach up, and exhale to twist through without quite resting on the floor. We're staying hovering, keeping some activity in our muscles. Inhale to extend up, and exhale to round. Like you're reaching for something that's not quite in your reach. And two more. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Really excellent movement to get the fascia all along that back half of the body and the ribs moving. And then we'll switch sides. So move the right arm up, standing tall into both knees. And then exhale to twist down and through. Inhale. You're going to move slow and purposefully, almost imagining like the air is just a little bit thick and you have to do a little bit of work to move through it. Taking your time so we build some awareness, you're really feeling what's happening in your body through the whole movement. And one more time. Nice. Then when we come back up, I'm going to rest in a child's pose for just a moment. Toes together, knees apart. Nice 360-degree breath in all directions. And then we're going to come on up to a kneeling position. If you've got a balance pad or a pillow, go ahead and grab it just so we've got something under your knee. We're going to do left knee on your balance pad, right leg straight ahead. So we're on a little bit of an unstable surface here. I'm going to get a little bit of a stretch to that hip flexor by taking your tailbone, tipping it down. Back toe can be either under or the other way, pointed, whichever one feels better. And keeping that little tuck of the tailbone here, you're going to reach the left arm up to the sky. Notice that nice pull along the entire front of the left hip. And then leaning a little bit over to the right. Come back to the center. And then just a little bit of a reach up and over, keeping your balance. And back to the center. One more time. Notice if your tailbone is starting to come out of its little tuck. Back to center, and then bring both arms forward. We're going to then start to lunge forward. Shift your weight into that front leg. Pause here for a moment. Notice all of your hips muscles working to hold your balance there, and then come back. And again, we're going to tuck the tailbone down so we get a little active lengthening in the front of the hips. Start to lunge forward. Pause and hold it here. We're going to float the arms up a little higher if you can. Pause and hold. 2 rounds of breath before coming back down. Nice. One more time. We're going to lean a little bit further forward. Almost imagine like you're trying to stand up. Reach your arms, grow them toward the ceiling. And then we're going to reach the right arm, start to rotate. Right arm comes back toward your calf, not quite reaching it, but just adding a little bit of a twist back. And then unwind. Come back forward one more time. Reach up and over, reaching back. Kind of like, and then unwinding, coming back down. We're going to bring your hands down. You can swivel that side around and try the other leg. So we've got left leg in front, right leg back behind you. We're going to find that little tuck the tailbone so we're getting a nice little elongation of that hip flexor. If it is a bit tight, we'll reach that right arm up. Keeping that length in your low back, tailbone reaching down as you lean a little bit over to the left. And then back to the center. Reach up and over without leaning forward and back to center, so you're not really needing to move too far. We're just going a little bit over, back to the center. Nice. Bring your arms forward, still checking in. We have that little tuck down. Start to lunge forward a little more, creating some length, but some activity in all those muscles. Like you're almost about to stand up out of it. We'll float the arms up a little higher. And then come back. Take a breath. Re-engage. Lunge forward. Float those arms up. It doesn't look like a lot from the outside, but there's so much going on the inside. Whew. And bring it back. Lots of work for stability here. The pelvis. Lunge it forward. So we're getting that hip flexor lengthened, but actually using it to help you stay stable as we hold, 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 hold. Nice. And then we're going to reach left arm back. Now you may not touch your knee, but just add a little rotation. And then come back up. Come out of your lunge. For a second, one more time, we're going to lunge forward. Rotate, let your left arm come back. Just a little bit of a teeny back bend, and then come back up and out of there. Nice. We're going to hinge out of that. You can push your balance pad off to the side for a moment. Find a hands and knees position. Turn your toes under and float the hips up. Down dog. Give your feet, calves a little pedal. And then we're going to shift the weight to the right leg, float the left leg up, three-leg dog. Pivot to look under that left arm as you bend the left knee. Check here that your back doesn't get all saggy. Keep it lifted long. Lift that left side up. Set her down and switch. Right leg can come up. Little pivot to look under the right arm. Bend the right knee. Lots of waist length of the waist. Little push of the shoulder blades into the mat. Reach up to the sky and then bring that foot back down. 2 more rounds of breath here. Then we'll step up, forward fold. Anchor those toes, anchor the heels, roll yourself up. Inhale with a little bit of a back bend, and exhale, bring your hands back to a prayer. Nice. Grab a little sip of water, and then we're going to use, if you need something for balance, we're going to do a little bit of lunging. So we're taking that hip flexor stretch we just did into a little bit more active work, lunging into a one leg balance. So if you need something to hold on to, you can have that there for you. Chair, I've got my foam roller. We're going to start with the left leg in front, right leg in back. So in our standing lunge position, we're going to have that little tilt of your pelvis. Again, let both knees bend into your lunge. We're going to slow down. And then as you come up, shift the weight into the left foot, lift the right knee. Good. And then small little lifts. 1, 2, knee to the chest. 3, 4, without moving your back. 5. Nice. Step back. Square your hips. We're going to lower into a lunge. Slow and slowly come back up. Shoulders level. Lift the right knee. And then a little lift here. 1, 2, without moving the back. 3, 4, 5. Step it back. Lunge down. And then come up. And lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then one more time. We'll step back. Slowly. Lunge down. Up we go. And lift for 1. Check that knee, bottom one, has got a little bend. 3. That's 5. Nice. Bring the feet down and then swap sides. So we've got, if you're holding onto something, just flip around and we're going to lunge down. All 10 toes forward, knees over the second, third toe. Lift that left knee and then add a little lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice if this feels different than the other side. Step back, square the hips and shoulders. We'll lunge down, come up, and lift. 1, 2. This is easy if we kind of flop around, but it's much more difficult if you think about keeping your pelvis, your spine really steady. We'll step back, lunge. Really fine-tuning that movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step back, square the hips, lower, And up we go for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that last one. Hold, 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 hold. And then you can set her on down. If you're not already at the front half of the mat, go ahead and make sure that you are. Inhale, reach up. A little back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lift up to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold down. Before we step back to a plank. Option to drop the knees, soft elbows, head in line with the rest of your body, but chaturanga, lower your chest down. And then active cobra. So hands stay here, but just use your back only. How high can you go comfortably without using your hands at all? So use just your back strength. Lower back down. And again, just your back muscles. Lift up a little bit. And then go ahead and allow your hands to help another couple inches. Lowering it back down. And then 2 more, starting with just your back only. Once you get stuck, then let the hands help just a little bit without smushing your spine by going it's crazy and pressing with just your arms. Lower down we go. One more time. You're starting with peeling yourself up with your back. Then when you get stuck, we'll use a little help from your hands. Shoulder blades are going to stay low with this one. And then we'll come out of that, up to hands and knees, toes under, and down dog. Notice your ribs expanding in all directions as you inhale here in your down dog. Even allow your inhale to let your tailbone extend higher toward the ceiling. Nice, we'll step it forward. Round and roll yourself up. Inhale with a little back bend and exhale, hands. Come back to prayer. Nice. And then we're going to come back to our lunge one more time. So option again, if you need something to hold on to, you've got that there. And if you'd like to add more resistance to it, if you want to add some weights, this is your chance. You can hold on to some weights as you lunge. So take whichever version. You do one hand for balance, weight in one hand, take whatever version is working for you today. All 10 toes are forward. We're going to lower down, taking 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, coming up. So we're increasing the time under tension. So taking it nice and slow, going down for 1, 2, 3, and then up 1, 2, 3, going extra slow. 1, 2, knees straight over that second toe. 1, 3, and lower down. 2, 3, and up. 2, 3. And now keep your big toe glued to the ground. 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 more. 1. It can be a partial lunge. You don't have to go to full depth. Do what your body's comfortable with. One more time. 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll shift the weight into that front foot again. Find our one leg balance. This time, extend the leg. It might be down here, it might be up a little higher, and then find a comfortable spot. Then here we'll do a tiny little lift to the leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and set it down. Good. We'll switch sides. So if you're using something for support, just flip it on over. Otherwise, we'll just switch your legs. Left leg in front, right leg in back. Back pinky toe even points forward. Let both knees bend. Take 1, 2, 3 seconds down. 1, 2, 3 seconds up. Down 1, 2, 3, and up. Nice. 2, 3. If you notice, my knee isn't going forward over my toes. Not that that's wrong, by the way. It's kind of a myth. It just changes which muscle group that you're focusing on. So here, having knee behind toes, definitely get more glute activity. 1, 3, 1. Knees over toes. It's a little bit more quad. 2, 3. And is more challenging for your knee joint. So it's a way to progress things. If ever you're ready. 2 more. 2, 1, 2. And one more time. 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll lift the right leg up. Option to hold on at any point here. We'll extend your leg to the angle that's comfortable without moving your back. Add a little leg lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back still. Good. 9, 10. Awesome job. Set it down. You can let the weights down for a moment. Give your hands a little bit of a break from holding onto them. Hydrate. Take a little sip of water. And then we're going to grab long band. Go ahead and step on it. So feet about hip width apart. We're going to practice some hip hinging here. So all 10 toes forward, shoulders anchored onto your rib cage. The band is going to stay resting right by your side. Then keeping the low back neutral, we're going to hinge your hips way behind you. Knuckles stay touching the side of the legs. And then press back up. Hinging down. So the only thing moving is your pelvis, rolling forward over your thighs, pressing it back up. Good. Shoulders stay right where they're at. Sometimes the band wants to round us forward. Try not to let that happen. Good. Now continue with that version, or option to advance it by doing a kickstand version. So we're going to put the weight in the right leg. Left leg is going to balance behind you, like almost like we're going to do a one leg lift, but we're going to use your big toe for balance. So we're still hinging down exactly like we just did, and then lifting back up. Now it's a hip hinge. My hips go way back behind me, and I press through my heel, use the back of my thigh. Good. Should be feeling a lot of work happening in the hamstring on that right leg. It's a little kickstand deadlift down, and then back up. Good. 2 more. Your hips, it's like you start the movement by leaning your butt way back behind you. Press your heel to the ground. If you need more resistance on the band, you can always tighten it up a little bit if you feel like your band is too loose. Then one more time, we're hinging those hips back. The right foot doing most of the work. Left foot is just here for balance. Right heel glued to the ground, and then up we go. And then we can try that on the other side. So we've got most of the weight, about 80% of your weight is on that front left leg. Right toes here for a little bit of balance. Little micro bend of that left knee, hinge. Drive the left heel through the floor to bring yourself back up. Good. We hinge forward, nice proud chest. Exhale to come back up. If you notice, we're going nice and slow. If you want to go more advanced, you even just pick up the back leg to a full one leg deadlift. Your call. Or just continue. The kickstand version is kind of a fun variation to get some practice with. Let's try about 2 more. Again, going nice and slow so you can really make those tiny micro adjustments along the way. Keep yourself feeling stable, and up we go. Perfect. We're going to set that down. Find the back half of the mat. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, we're going to round down. Instead of hinge, we just did all that hinging. Now we're going to break that pattern. Round. Let your head come down. Round your spine like you're peeling off of a wall. Find some flexion and into your back, walking forward into a plank. We're going to pause here in our plank. Let the right knee tap the ground, and then bring that up. Let the left knee tap, and back up. Your choice on how much weight goes into the knee. Good. For a little more challenge, we're going to just hover it. If you need a little break, you actually rest your knee on the ground, and up. Left knee tap, up, right, and up. Left, up, right, up, and one more. Left, and right, and then we'll lift the hips up to a down dog. Step the feet forward, forward fold, roll yourself up. Inhale, reaching up at the little back bend. Exhale, hands to prayer. We're going to lift up the left foot, kickstand to little tree pose or foot up on the shin or thigh. Shoulders anchored onto your back. We'll grow your tree by reaching up to the ceiling. Nice, we'll bring the hands back to prayer. Step back to a lunge, crescent lunge, all 10 toes forward. Reach your arms back up to the sky. Grow the ribs really high. We'll bring the hands then back down to your chest and then twist. Left elbow to right knee. Twisted lunge. Slow motion, lower the left knee back to the ground. Untwist. Bringing your arms out to the side, hinging back, bring your hands on the inside of the foot. We're going to hinge both hips back, stretching the the back of your front leg, and then coming back up. So we're going to hinge back, lifting your toes, and coming up. Now, option to do this with no hands, just hinging, and coming back up, just a little mini lunge, 2 more. Hinging back, just kind of like the kickstand we just did, but a kneeling position. 1 more time. We're going to hinge back. Slowly come back up. Nice job. I'm going to bring your foot back around, hands to the floor, hips up to our down dog. Push the floor away just a bit with your shoulder blades as you walk. Feet up toward those hands. Roll yourself up. Inhale, reaching up tall. Exhale, hands to prayer. And then shift your weight to the left foot. Right foot comes to shin in a little kickstand. Whole foot to shin or whole foot to thigh for tree. Option to grow your tree by reaching up to the ceiling. Widen the collarbones a bit. Check that the big toe stays glued to the ground. We'll bring the hands back to prayer and step back to a lunge. Take a couple steps to get there if you need to. Square the hips. We've got that little tuck of the tailbone here. And then keeping that length in the waist, right elbow toward left knee. Option to drop your back knee right away, by the way. Good. Lift the upper body nice and long. And then we'll slow motion lower that knee down. We'll open the arms out to the side into a twisted low lunge position. Unwind, bring your hands on the inside of the foot and sit back as you go back into a little half split and then lift up to a little mini lunge. So continue holding on as we're rocking back and forth, or option to go hands free, hinging back and stepping forward. Nice. All versions. Nice long waist. And as you come forward into the lunge, we keep that little bit of tuck of the tailbone so we get that active work of the hip flexor here. Hinge. And 1 more time. Leaning back and coming up. Nice. We'll bring the hands down to the floor. Turn your toes under. Come up to our down dog. Step up to forward fold. Roll it on up. Inhale. Reaching overhead. Exhale, hands to prayer. Very nice. And then we're going to grab your balance pad 1 more time. And then we're going to use some light weights if you're comfortable with the amount of weight that you would feel comfortable doing, kind of a long lever reach of the arms. So we've got the balance pad here with feet together. Option to bring them a little wider if that feels a little too shaky for you. And then if we can, feet together, ribs stacked right over the pelvis, soft little micro bend of the knee. Thumbs up, we're going to reach your arms forward at an angle. Keeping your balance, slowly bring it back down. And again, we're reaching up. So on this unstable surface, naturally, we're getting a lot more work of our stabilizers and down. Lift, working on our rotator cuff muscles a little bit here and all of our core stabilizers, lifting up and down. Good, and then if that's feeling good, we'll go ahead and pick up the pace a little bit there for 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let everything come back down. Good. Now we're going to bring your feet about hip width apart. Hinge forward, so we've got these little light weights here. Still on our unstable surface. Let the elbows come up into a little bit of a row, and then a tricep kickback, little chin tuck, and then let the elbows bend. Reaching back, and down. Reaching back. Pause for a moment. Let the elbows bend. Reach back. Pinky fingers go up to the sky here. Inhale. Exhale, working triceps, back half of the body, and reach. Good. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. We're going to come all the way back up to stand. Go ahead, bring your feet together, little soft micro bend of the knees, and then continuing to hold the weights for a little bit of extra shoulder work. See if you can close the eyes. Just checking in with your proprioception here. Option 2, set the weights down if that makes it too challenging. And then with your eyes closed, I'm going to add the tiniest little rotation of the head to the right, maybe 45 degrees, no more. Back to center. Small rotation to the left. And center. Look to the right. Shoulders anchored on your ribs, center. Left. Doesn't have to go too fast. Center, and then a little bit of a look up. And then a little bit of a look down. Even smaller movement with up and down. You can notice it definitely throws your balance off a bit. And down. Good. Just keep it safe. Flutter the eyes open when you're ready. Nice. You can step off of the balance pad. We'll let the weights down. And then find your way back down to the mat. Take a little moment. Grab some water. And then once we're sitting, we're going to find a seat. So there's plenty of room behind you. We're going to roll down, starting with a halfway roll down. So we'll sit up nice and tall to begin. Exhale, tuck the chin and start to roll halfway. Just getting some length in the spine. Pause for a moment. Notice your abs starting to kick in and do a little something. And inhale, sit up nice and tall. And then again, exhale, round, tuck the chin. Slowly start to find your way back. Pause at about the halfway point. Then feel your abs working to lift you back up. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale as we round down. This time going a little farther if you're able to, maybe letting go 3/4 of the way. And then use your hands if you need to get you unstuck. Come the rest of the way back up. And then on the next one, we're going to go all the way down, round. Let each vertebrae come to the floor one at a time as we go down. We'll inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, we'll roll back up. Use some help from the knee if you need to rock yourself up. Inhale to round and reach forward. Exhale to slowly and controlled roll it down one vertebrae at a time. Ribs stay anchored down as you reach up. Inhale. Exhale, you can use help from one knee to roll it up. Inhale, reach it ahead. And exhale, slow. As you roll. Nice. Option 2, advance it to a straight leg. Roll up if you like, or keep it with the bent knee. Version. Inhale while you reach forward. Exhale on the way down. Or split the difference. Use a straight leg, but still use one hand to help you. Whichever version works for you today. It's totally okay, by the way, to do the less challenging version. Even if you know on other days you can do the more challenging one. You get to pick your own adventure. It's not always necessary to push yourself to the max every time. Reach. And then we're going to take it slow on the way down. Once we're there, you can let your head stay on the ground. Arms rest on the floor. We're going to extend the left leg straight up to the sky. Single leg circle. Option to bend your bottom knee if you want a little extra support. We're going to circle that left leg down and around. Big exhale each time the leg comes up. And then reverse your circle. Very classic Pilates move that actually, as a secondary benefit, has lots of good work for our hip flexors here. Hold this last one. Flex the toes to the nose. Reach your heel to the sky. And then hug the knee into the chest. Give it a little, maybe give the knee and the hip a little circle here using your hands. And then we'll switch sides. Left leg down, right leg up. Option to bend the left knee if you'd like. And we'll circle the right leg down and around. Nice wide collarbones. Keep the kneecap pointing straight at you. And stop at the top on the next round. Go the other direction. Check what that left side of your rib cage is doing. That's the most likely thing to start popping up off of the floor. So if you can keep that nice heaviness on that left side, you're more likely to be stable in the whole rest of your body. And then last time, hold it there. Wide collarbones, toes to nose. Press your heel up toward the sky. Make that back of the leg really long. And then we'll hug that knee into the chest. And then we'll hug both knees in. Grab the ball. And what we're going to do is a little bit of a crunch. So we're going to tuck the chin, curl up, pass the ball behind the leg while you extend the right leg. So right leg is going to go out or rest it on the ground. And then while we're holding here, we're going to do a circle. And then switch, circle. Switch, circle the ball around. And switch. So either a toe tap or extend the leg, circle, and circle, and around, switch, and switch, and then reverse the direction of your circle. Curl it around. You can give your head a break if you need to. Reach, and circle it back around. Circle it back around. Two more. Reach, reach, and last one. Circle it around, and circle it around. Next, we're going to let the head down, let the ball rest between both knees, let your feet down for a moment, anchor your tailbone to the ground, and then having a little squeeze of the ball, we're going to bring it up to about 90 degrees, and start lowering both feet. May only be a couple degrees, and then bring them back up. You may even want to bring hands on pelvis, see if you can notice if your pelvis is moving. Keep it as steady as you can. Good. Inhale. Going slower than you think you need to. Exhale. This is lots of work for the hip flexors and your abs at the same time. If two legs at once is causing any strain on the back, by the way, just do one leg at a time. Two more. Inhale on the way down, shoulders nice and relaxed. Exhale on the way up. One more time. And exhale to come up. Perfect job. You can remove the ball, bring your hands behind the head, crisscross. We're going to lift the left knee and bring right elbow to left knee or towards that direction. Let everything come back to the floor. Switch sides, left elbow, right knee. Inhale to come back down. Continue with this version or option to extend the bottom leg and twist. Inhale in between. Exhale to crunch up. Exhale. Curl. Ribs are coming toward the pelvis. The head stays heavy in your hands. In fact, your head shouldn't poke too far forward. And twist. Nice. Three more. Three more. And two more. Two. That's two. One more on each side. One. One. We'll bring everything back in. Hug the knees in. And then give yourself a couple of rocks to come on up, and then we'll flip around to your belly. You can let your forehead rest on the back of your hands. Just for a moment here. Take a couple of breaths, breathing into your belly. And then we're going to bring the arms out to the side, cactus arm position. Option to use something, a towel under your forehead. And then we're just going to lift the shoulders up into your cactus. And then hands, forearms tap the ground again and lift up. So we're going to do a little tap and lift in your cactus. Tap and lift. Tap. Shoulder blades start the movement. Tap. Lift up. Doesn't have to go too high. One more. Good. And then reach up. Arms overhead. You can still keep elbows bent to start and lift the whole arm. Here. So still have like this, like a diamond shape of the arms. Tap. Lift. Tap. Lift. And lift. Lift. Two more. Little nod of the head down. Nice. Then we're going to come back down. Hands under shoulders. Press up to hands and knees. Now, while we're in our hands and knees position, I'm going to pause here, push the floor away, and then step back to a plank on the hands and toes, or pause on the hands and knees. If we've got the hands and toes position, we're going to go left knee to chest, and then do a little lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause and hold. Lift it up a little higher before you set it back down. And then the right knee is going to come in and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold, hold, hold before you set it back down. Flip the knees down. Hips stay up. Glide your hands forward into a puppy pose. Just keeping your hands pressing gently into the floor. Rounding your spine to come back up. We'll lay back down to the belly. Tuck the chin. Find your cactus arm position again. And same thing, lifting up from your back in a little lift. Option to support your head on the towel. And then lift into your cactus. 1, 2, maybe a few extra reps this time if you can. 3, 4, 5. Tops of the feet. Gently press into the floor. Still breathing. Nice. 10. Good. Then you'll bring your arms up, kind of like a diamond shape. Round, chin down, and lift from here. 1. If you only do 2, that's okay. Do what you can. 3, 4. Still breathing. 5. Lots of work here. Lower traps. 6, 7, 8. Really important shoulder stabilizers. 9. That's 10. Nice. We'll bring your right ear down, arms to the side, bend that left knee, give the front of the thigh a little bit of a stretch. And then, so once you can't go any further, then we'll start to twist into scorpion. Left foot reaches toward the ground. Breathe into that bottom left side of your rib cage. And we'll untwist, left ear, just rotate. And then we'll unwind. We'll press up into a little bit of a cobra. And then back through hands and knees, toes together, knees apart. Child's pose. You can walk your hands to the right, adding a little side bend to it. And walking hands to the left. And then we'll come back to the center. You can swing your legs around. Sitting in a staff pose here for a moment, legs straight ahead. We're going to reach up and then hinge forward without quite holding onto your feet. Reach as far forward as you can. Separate the toes, flex the toes up to the sky. Use your back muscles to gently lift yourself back up. Arms to the sky, pressing your sitting bones into the floor. Nice. We're going to hinge it forward again. Creating that nice length in the back half of the body. Maybe rounding a little farther if it is what you can control as you bring yourself right back up. And then one more time, we're going to round forward. Widen the toes, soften the belly, and then use your back strength to lift yourself up one vertebra at a time. Beautiful. Make sure you got plenty of room. We're going to lay back on your back again, slowly. Find a comfortable position for Shavasana. Palms up to the sky. Eyes closed. Start to notice your breath again. Notice any tension in your body, especially in those hips. We did a lot of extra work for those hip flexors today. Allow your face to soften, the jaw, the throat. And breathe in through your nose. More likely to get a good diaphragmatic breath. Maybe begin to notice your hands getting a little heavier, your forearms, your ribs, your head, all making a little indent in your mat. Same with your tailbone, the back of the calves and the heels. Just allowing yourself to feel that weightiness of your body. We'll start to bring a little bit of movement back to the toes, the fingers. And when you're ready, turn to your side. We'll pause here, keeping that nice softness with you as you go ahead and return to sit. And then we'll finish by waking yourself back up with a nice big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bringing hands to prayer, closing your eyes for just a moment. Having a little bit of gratitude for taking this time for yourself today and for all those movements that you were able to do. Namaste. All right, I hope you found that video helpful. And if you're looking to kick that up a notch to a little more of an advanced class, I've got another video on hip mobility, how to do that in a safe way for hypermobility in my channel. So give that a try, check it out, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.